Let's talk about a video that was released initially on September 18th and then again on October 2nd. It didn't seem like it got a lot of legs to it because I don't think a lot of people realized what it actually was. And what I want to do is go over what I believe it is. And I believe what was released is a Bright Star Class 6 that Skywatcher had captured. There is an extreme alignment between what the Skywatcher team has identified as far as what the visual characteristics and the behavior of the of this UAP, and what we're seeing in this video that was presented. So let's go to who posted it. It's Eddie Abbott, is a military intelligence analyst, and he posts a lot. Right, he's got a pretty consistent feed of posts. So go check him out. There's some interesting things that he's putting out there. But the one right, that is the most interesting to me right now is this one, where I believe it's the clearest video of the Bright Star that we have seen. And it's probably indicative of what other types of videos the military may have on these objects. So he posted this twice, once at September 18th and then again October 2nd. On the September 18th one, he identified it as being CCTV. When I looked at the video, I see movement in the camera, in the way it moves. It looks like it is servo driven. So it's probably it could possibly be CCTV. I'm seeing characteristics of that. The color space is a little odd on it. So I think that supports it as well. The frame rate is really odd at 11.5 frames per second. And the resolution is strange at 706 by 720. That could all be changed after the recording, right? So it's just data that I'm putting out there. It's just things that I'm seeing that are embedded within this video. At least in the way the camera is moving around and zooming around, it looks like a PTZ, a pan tilt zoom, motorized camera. So that does align with what I would imagine a CCTV camera would have, meaning security camera essentially. So let's go through what he talks about in here in his feed. And the comments are pretty interesting, right? So he's saying living metal, frequencies change and control the metal that these craft spheres are made out of. This is how they combine together and make larger ones, or how they birth smaller ones. Or when a Hellfire missile hits one and birth 3 smaller ones in defense. So this is just such an unusual technology if this is real. And there's reasons why I think this is real. But let's continue. So now you see for yourself, this, my friends, has only been witnessed by military personnel. Check it out. Okay. Let's get to a couple of his comments. When people have an opinion, I never want to squash that opinion. This is, he describes it as a solid as you can imagine them to be. They're filled with all kinds of plasma. It's black. There's all kinds of what we identify as fiber optics in them. There's some kind of electronic control device within them, very unlikely ours, micro. Not sure what they called it when they talk about it, but there's some element within there that all work together with this metal. The metal works the metal itself works in conjunction with the integral parts, and they create a gravitational field. All of these components together, they all work in unison. So that's so interesting. This video, well, I'm assuming this is included, get passed along to me by former military, as in this case, by some folks that I am not at liberty to say. All right, so that's some cool information, right? So kind of lines with things that we've heard in the past, where fiber optics, right? We keep hearing the fiber optics were part of, came out of the crash retrievals. I don't know, right? Some say it was the fiber optics came out of certain companies, and others are saying maybe the companies received some of the crash retrieval materials, which is what we're hearing is basically what happens, right? So it gets into the contractor's hands, and then they get to reverse engineer it. So it is very possible that is a piece of data that holds some water there. So now, why do I think this is a bright star? Well, reflective tetrahedron shaped craft that flashes in teal, green, blue, red, and white. So when these things, and I believe Skywatcher, all the footage they have is at high altitude and at quite a distance. There's nothing that they have that I've seen is up close and personal like this one is. So it appears to shimmer across its surface, Endpoints of the craft are less opaque, possibly due to plumage or light-based extension effects. So tetrahedron shape, and that is what we're seeing, right? That is actually what we're seeing here, the tetrahedron. So that describes this almost to a T, right? Highly reflective, shimmers across its surface. Endpoints of the craft are less opaque, possibly due to the plumage or light-based extension effects. So shimmer across the surface in the electro-optical, and that is really what we're seeing here. That is certainly shimmering across the surface. Now, what do I see in these few frames right here? All right, so this to me is a extremely reflective object. James actually describes it as seeing like a diamond in the sky.
Class 6 is bright star. That one vibrates very, very fast. It literally looks like a crystal in the sky.
So if the sun is hitting this, which this hot spot would be right here, the sun's going to be kind of off to the high right. You're going to see the reflection. Now, the orange here is going to be the ground. So this is out somewhere where there's orange dirt. So maybe the desert, a dry area, and then we have the sky reflected here. That also is shown when we get to see the back end of it. So this thing is kind of like curled like this. It's like a scallop, like like looking at the backside of a seashell. Let's see if we can get to where we can see the behind of it. Okay, now here we have the backside of it, and just looking at the reflection, we can kind of identify some of the detail. So there's 4 points that are reflecting sky down, so that means they're going to have more of an angle like this than this. The center point is going to be kind of canted down like this, and the scallop here, and so I say this looks kind of like like if you've seen a seashell, right? You're looking at the inside of the seashell. So this is scalloped, the part that's down, so we're getting reflection of the earth here. So it's that orange dirt that we're seeing, and just based off of the reflection, you can see how it's basically built, right? So it's like that type of a shape. Now the movement is what is the most fascinating aspect of it, right? Here's looks like a diamond in the sky. So we're seeing that in spades here. So the reflectivity is significant. So when it's facing towards the sun, it's reflecting literally the sun right towards the camera here. So we're getting just lots of glare. But this right here, right? This is what really does it for me. This movement right here as it spins, it's almost like the 2 points are locked in space, and the scallop spins around it. And if we go to what Skywatcher has identified here, right, exhibits rapid horizontal oscillation fast enough to produce radar artifacts resembling a spinning propeller. Right there, that nails it for me, because if this is spinning like that, radar is going to see it like a propeller, because it's going to be getting hits in a frequency as it's spinning, and it's going to identify that and match it to a database of known emission signatures, and it's going to see that and it's going to match to that. So this is what tells me right now that this is what this is. This is actually a bright star class 6. Movement is erratic and high frequency, but contained within a lateral plane, right? It's spinning like this, and it's moving kind of side to side. So there's not much more that we can really talk about here, but I think this is literally a Class 6 Bright Star UAP that we're looking at, and this is the level of clarity that I believe our military probably does have in spades. It's there for us to see, but we're not getting to see it. That's where I am with this, right? So this is somebody on the inside sent this out to a buddy, and then it gets released. So it's kind of like a silent release, and this is what we're dealing with. Now, why is this being withheld from us? Well, just take a look at this, right? So this is a technology that is far beyond anything that I can imagine that we have. Maybe we do have it. Maybe we've reversed engineered it, but this is a significant divergence from any technology that I've ever been exposed to. And that's probably the scary part, right? Why they don't want this coming out, because this is so unique, so different. I can't say the physics don't match what we know as true physics, because we don't know exactly how this thing operates. Apparently, he says that there's fiber optics inside, there's a microcontroller or some type of electronics controller, but this thing is operating on a frequency basis, and it's doing something with harmonics or something like that. But this is truly unique. This is truly highly advanced. It's a science that has to work in our physical world, but it's a science that we have not been privy to, at least not on the civilian side of the house. So I'm hoping we see more of this, and we can get more silent drops maybe of other UAP classes that we can really kind of correlate and say, damn, I think that really is this. I think, damn, this really is a bright star. So I love this video. I want to dig into it as deep as I can. I'd love to talk with Eddie a little bit and see if, what he could share about it. But that's all I have for now. I just want to get this out and share it to everybody, and let everybody see what I'm seeing and what I've kind of correlated here. So that's it for now, and stay tuned for more.